Coming up in today's Leeds news, Hull City risk losing out on Joe Gelhardt. Daniel Farke could break Brighton hoodoo. Under 21 loan exit. Elland Road development meeting today. Jorginho Rutter's return, but Brighton wanted more. Today's rumour mill with stories on Fabio Carvalho and Haji Wright. Morning folks, welcome to the Leeds View. Thursday morning, the 30th of October with your Leeds United news. Hope your week's going well so far. Daniel Farke's press conference will kick off today at 1:30. Hopefully some good news on some of the illnesses and injuries around the camp from last week, and hopefully get a full strength squad heading away to Brighton. We will be over on bigup.com after that press conference for a bit of a reaction and a chat around what he says. And we will have the stats pack out tonight as well. Massive thanks to everyone who's been liking, hyping and subscribing over the last week or so. It's massively helping us get back to where we were in terms of movement. So we really do appreciate that. And thank you for everyone who has helped us over the last week or so. Outside of that, let's crack on with the news. And we'll start out off with Joe Gelhardt and Hull City. While I resettle myself and get my pen sorted out, Joe Gelhardt's loan at Hull City has gone from strength to strength this season. And the more that continues, the more that Hull City will fear that they could end up losing out on a permanent deal for Joe come the end of the season. Gelhardt's got 5 goals and 2 assists so far this season for Hull City and boasts one of the best crossing completion percentages of any winger in the Championship, despite the fact that Joe himself is not actually a winger. Hull are currently under a transfer embargo and they can't sign any player for any kind of value. Similar situation with Darko JB, where Leeds did work a deal with them for a free transfer for JB to go there, but they did add on a 50% sell-on clause to make sure Leeds will get some money down the road should that deal work out. But Hull's hope that they can get Joffrey was on a permanent deal as a free transfer in the summer, and that could be at risk now given his form so far this season, and has alerted a couple of other teams to his availability. According to reports, Joffrey has attracted interest from several clubs across the UK, and there may be a possibility of a transfer in January should his form continue. Joffrey's got 3 goals in his last 3 games for Hull City and is beginning to show a return to the form that we all saw him have while he was under Marcelo Bielsa at Leeds United, and the potential that we all believed that he had when he was at Leeds during that time, and a player who could definitely slip into any 11 in the Championship or lower end of the Premier League, at least at this point in his career, and there's potential there for a lot more from him. But Gelhardt is currently averaging a goal every second game despite not playing as a striker, and that's helped Hull City get up to 8th place in the Championship and a decent start to their season so far. From a Leeds United perspective, a sale of Joe Gelhardt in January would give Leeds some very useful liquid cash to reinvest in problem areas for the second half of the season, but it could see Hull City lose out on a very important player for them. The stronger likelihood is that Joe Gelhardt will stay there. He seems to be a pretty loyal young man, and you would imagine he'll probably sit out the rest of the season there. He's doing well. Why upset the apple cart? He's finding his form and he's getting a run of games under his belt, but it would help Leeds, and if they can get their embargo sorted before the end of the season, then maybe there's some sort of handshake agreement in place that would see Leeds get some sort of a nominal fee before the PSR deadline on the 30th of June. But we'll have to wait and see how he gets on. Let's move on and talk about Daniel Farke, and he goes into Saturday's game against Brighton very aware that Leeds have had a horrible run of form against the Seagulls in the Premier League and over a longer period of time as well. Leeds have never beaten Brighton and Hove Albion at the Amex Stadium, and you've got to go all the way back to Leeds United's League One campaign in 2009 for an away win for Leeds. According to BBC, not only is this Brighton's longest unbeaten run against any Premier League opposition, but it's also Leeds United's longest run of fixtures without a win against a top flight opponent. If Daniel Farke can get a win, he'll manage to do something that no other Leeds United manager has managed to do. But it won't be an easy game. We talked about this yesterday. It's likely to be an incredibly physical game, and Leeds will need to be up for a fight. But any kind of a positive result for Leeds away from home will be taken right now. I think a point right now, if it was offered to you, you'd bite the person's hand off. 3 points would be amazing, but this won't be straightforward or easy at all. But again, as I say, any kind of a result right now away from home at Brighton and then skip into the Nottingham Forest game knowing a win there would be a very positive block of 4 games before the final international break of this year kicks in and upsets everybody for a couple of weeks. But yeah, we'll see how we get on. More talk about that in the press conference today, but we'll move on and talk about an under-21 potential exit. Leeds United's under-21 striker Louis Peary looks set to go out on loan, and Peary came down from Scotland from Aberdeen a couple of years ago and was very impressive for Leeds in the under-17s and under-18s ranks, but since he's moved in to the under-21 setup, it's been a little bit trickier for him. He's only started 4 of Leeds United under-21's 10 games this season. That's not a slight against Louis Peary at all. He has had a very strong Harry Gray-shaped blocker in his way, and when Harry Gray hasn't been playing, Devin Brockie has done very well to step into that position as well. So the Leeds have had plenty of options in that striking position, but as we always say, it's really important for these players to be getting as much game time as possible, and it now appears that Peary could move out on a temporary loan to try and get some of that much needed game time. According to reports today, Peary could be set for a move on loan to Northern Premier League side and local side Guiseley to get that needed game time as well as much needed experience at the senior men's level of football, something the Leeds under-21s have seen this season, the EFL Trophy, which has had mixed results for Leeds so far this season. But we'll keep an eye on Peary over the course of this loan. Should it happen, it's not been confirmed just yet that it has gone through, but if it does go through, we'll keep an eye on Louis. Players develop at different speeds and different rates, so we'll keep an eye on him. He's got plenty of time ahead of him. He looked really good at the 17s and 18s, and Leeds paid 6 figures to bring him down from Aberdeen, so they clearly saw something in him at that time as well. So hopefully we can see him get this loan, get some goals under his belt, come back to Leeds and continue his development at the club. He's still young, still has plenty of time. No rush on him at all, but yeah, an important move for him should it go through. Let's move on. Let's stop at the Elland Road development, and Leeds City Council meet today to discuss Leeds United's proposed redevelopment of Elland Road, with transport concerns and issues said to be high on the council's agenda. Some Leeds Council members are said to have issues with the current Leeds United transport blueprint that they've put forward, and have asked Leeds to come back with more detailed and a more revised plan before today's meeting. Leeds themselves will likely be able to answer most of the questions that will be put forward in the development plan, but they have moved towards a local architectural and development company to try and help with this situation as well and get the finer details sorted before the spades go in the ground at the end of this season. Leeds are said to have offered a wide range of support as part of this blueprint and the club's transport plan, and they're said to understand the pressures of adding an additional 15,110 people to every single home match day. The council members widely support Leeds' redevelopment plans, but this is just one of the few hurdles that Leeds United will hope to jump cleanly in the next couple of months before they get to that shovels in the ground period at the end of this season. It's part of the course. These are known things that Leeds will have to go through during a development plan. They mentioned this when they did unveil the fancy looking stadium development plans a couple of months ago. But yeah, these are situations they have to go through, and hopefully they can manage to get through these and they're ready for them, and they likely will be. And hopefully we come out of this with a positive result. There's another meeting in November as well, so it's an important period of time when it comes to this redevelopment. Everyone's very excited about it. This is the closest we've ever gotten to redevelopment of Elland Road and increase the capacity of the ground. So yeah, fingers crossed it all goes well today and again in November. We'll give you the updates on that as and when they are made public. Let's move on and talk about Georginio Rutter's return to face Leeds, and Gio Rutter will face off against Leeds United for the first time after his exit from the club. And in a sentimental gesture, he went and named one of his horses after Leeds United. But outside of his face-to-face with his former employers, news has also come out today that Brighton weren't just happy with getting Gio Rutter off Leeds United. They tried to buy 4 players in total at the same time, including Georginio. Leeds brought in a much needed £40 million at that time for Rutter, which helped Leeds with a tight PSR situation at that time. It was an emotional exit for Rutter himself, but according to reports, Brighton weren't just done with Rutter. They also tried to sign Crescencio Somerville, Willie Gnonto, and surprisingly enough, Glenn Kamara as well. All of those exits of the players that did leave have had mixed returns last season and this year. Chris Somerville has had a pretty tough time at West Ham and was anonymous against Leeds United on his Elland Road return. Willie Gnonto has stayed put at Leeds United, had a good finish to his season last year, but has struggled to get going this year with injuries. And Glenn Kamara went to Rennes and started so poorly that he ended up on loan in Saudi Arabia within the first 6 months of his loan. He's been linked with potential January moves to Leicester City now at this point in time, but Gio has managed no goals so far this season, but has added 2 assists in his campaign. But last year was slightly better for the attacker. Rutter scored 5 times in 28 Premier League games last year and added 3 assists. And despite the low goal return from the attacker at this moment in time, Leeds will know very well how dangerous he can be if he is given time and space to operate in. And Leeds captain Ethan Ampadu will be given the task of keeping Gio Rutter quiet during the game. And the longer Leeds can keep him out of the game, the better it will be for him. He was a fun player. We all loved him. He was a fan favourite. It's a shame to see him leave. But we know how dangerous he can be if we give him time and space. So yeah, Ethan Ampadu will have a tough day on his hands against Brighton. Hopefully the illness is behind him and he's in a much sharper vein of form coming into this game. He was very good against West Ham as well. Just that little switch off moment at the end of the game, which again, given the amount of football they played and the illness, slightly understandable. Let's move on and talk about today's rumour mills. And I'll caveat this at the start by saying these are incredibly vague reports. People have asked me over the last couple of days to talk about these links. I'll give you the detail and you can make up your own mind on whether you believe them or not. First one to get stuck into is Brentford's attacker Fabio Carvalho, and this is an incredibly vague report, but it is not the first time that he's been linked with a move to Leeds United. He was linked last summer, he was linked last January, and he was linked this summer before, and I'm pretty sure he was linked to January before that as well when he went to Hull City. But he is available. Brentford have said he can go on loan this January in order to get game time, so that is pretty clear and is out there in the media. But according to reports, there is significant interest in him from Germany, and now Leeds United have also been labelled as a club with potential interest in him. Is this true? Probably not. No, I wouldn't say so, because this started off as an internet Leeds should go and sign this player, and now appears to have manifested itself into a Leeds are interested in the player. He doesn't tick all the boxes for Leeds, but he does tick a few. He's a creative player. He would add something from an attacking threat, but more likely if Leeds were to change system to a 4-2-3-1, which is unlikely at this point of his season. He can play wide as well, but he doesn't fix Leeds' major issue, which is Leeds need a left-footed player who can play on the right and is creative. Carvalho is very much a right footer, so doesn't tick that important box. The second player that has been linked with Leeds United in the last couple of days is Coventry City's Wright, and according to the Coventry Telegraph, Leeds are said to be monitoring this and are even said to have watched him in several games. Wright's having an incredibly strong start to the season as Coventry City sit top of the championship, but the report does say that Leeds have watched him and have interest in bringing him to the club. Is this one true? Again, probably not. And if you follow the logic on this one, Leeds are overstocked in strikers right now, and if another one was to come in, somebody would need to leave, whether that's Piru, Gray or Meche. Somebody would need to go out. There's also the squad capacity as well. Leeds are currently sitting on 25 men of a 25-man squad. Elland Meslier likely to move away in January in some way or shape or form. That would free up one position. And again, Leeds are looking for a right-sided player with a left foot. Wright is very much a striker, and Joe Piru isn't really playing for Leeds right now either. So where would he come in and where would he fit in? It's hard to tell. So for me, both of these, probably easy enough rumours linking them to Leeds. Josh Sargent's popped up again. Do Leeds need him? Probably not. So yeah, none of these really fit the bill right now. But as always has been said, Leeds are a great club to stick your name alongside. It generates interest in players. So yeah, for me, not a whole lot in these two, but you can make up your own mind. If they turn out to be true, we'll cover that in detail when we find out. Outside of that, folks, that will be it for me today. Massive thanks. Back tonight for the stats pack with the detail on team news form guide for both sides coming into the game against Brighton at the weekend. Over and big up for Daniel Farke's press conference reaction. You can check it out over there. Outside that, I'll see you in the morning. Have a great rest of your day. Talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.